It was a rainy Wednesday evening when I received the notification. I was sitting on my couch, wrapped in a warm blanket, sipping on a cup of hot cocoa. The sound of raindrops tapping against the window panes was soothing, providing the perfect backdrop for a cozy night in. I had planned to spend my evening catching up on my favorite TV shows, but the unexpected notification on my phone piqued my curiosity. I unlocked my phone and saw that I had a friend request on Facebook. I tapped the notification, and the screen displayed a familiar yet distant name, Emily Richards. My heart skipped a beat. Emily had been my best friend in elementary school, but we had lost touch after she moved away in 6th grade. We hadn't spoken in over 15 years. Emily Richards, I whispered to myself, staring at the profile picture. It was a black and white photo of a smiling woman with dark hair, but there was something eerie about her eyes. They seemed to stare right through the screen, as if trying to communicate something. Without giving it much thought, I accepted the friend request. Almost immediately, a message popped up from Emily. "Hey Tom, long time no see. How have you been?" My fingers hesitated over the keyboard. I felt a strange mix of excitement and unease. After all these years, why had Emily suddenly decided to reach out? Nonetheless, I started typing a reply. "Hi Emily, wow, it's been forever. I'm doing well, thanks. How about you?" We exchanged a few more messages, catching up on old times. Emily told me that she had moved back to our hometown and was looking forward to reconnecting with old friends. The conversation was pleasant enough, but I couldn't shake off the feeling that something was off. Emily's responses were polite, but lacked any real warmth or emotion. As the night wore on, I decided to call it a day and get some sleep. I turned off my phone, unaware that this was just the beginning of a terrifying ordeal. The next morning I woke up feeling groggy. I had had a restless night, plagued by strange dreams. I couldn't remember the details, but the lingering sense of dread was hard to shake off. After getting ready for work, I checked my phone and saw several messages from Emily. "Good morning, Tom. Hope you slept well. Do you remember our sleepovers at your place? We used to stay up all night telling ghost stories. I miss those days. We should catch up in person soon." I smiled at the memories Emily had brought up. Our sleepovers had indeed been filled with laughter and spooky tales. It was during one of those nights that we had made a pact to always stay in touch, a promise we had failed to keep. Feeling a pang of guilt, I replied, "Morning, Emily. Yes, I remember. Those were some of the best times. We should definitely meet up soon." Throughout the day, I couldn't focus on my work. My mind kept drifting back to Emily and the memories we had shared. I wondered what had caused us to drift apart. We had been inseparable once, and yet, life had a way of pulling people in different directions. When I got home that evening, I decided to go through my old photo albums. I pulled out a dusty box from the attic and started flipping through the pages. There were countless pictures of me and Emily, smiling and laughing, captured in moments of pure joy. But as I reached the end of the album, I found a photo that made my blood run cold. It was a picture of Emily taken at one of our sleepovers. She was sitting on my bed, staring directly at the camera with an unsettling intensity. I didn't remember taking that photo, and the look in Emily's eyes sent a shiver down my spine. It was the same look from Emily's current profile picture on Facebook. I quickly closed the album and put it back in the box. I tried to shake off the unease, telling myself it was just my imagination playing tricks on me. But deep down, I knew there was something more to it. Over the next few days, I continued to chat with Emily on Facebook. Our conversations grew increasingly strange. Emily would bring up specific details from our childhood that I had long forgotten. It was as if Emily remembered everything, every little moment we had shared. This should have been comforting, but instead, it felt intrusive. One night, I received a message from Emily that made my heart race. "Do you remember the old oak tree in your backyard? The one we used to play under?" I frowned. How could I forget? The old oak tree had been our favorite spot, a place where we had spent countless hours playing and talking. But there was something about the way Emily brought it up that felt ominous. "Yes, I remember. Why do you ask?" I replied, my fingers trembling slightly. Emily's response was almost immediate. "There's something buried under that tree. Something you need to see." I stared at the message, feeling a knot form in my stomach. What could Emily possibly be talking about? I decided to confront her. Emily, this isn't funny. What are you talking about? There was a long pause before Emily responded. Do you remember the night we made the pact to always stay in touch? There was something else we promised that night, something you seem to have forgotten. I racked my brain, trying to recall that night. We had been 10 years old, sitting under the oak tree with a flashlight, telling ghost stories, but I couldn't remember making any other promises. I don't know what you're talking about, I typed, my anxiety mounting. Emily's next message sent a chill down my spine. Come to the oak tree tonight at midnight. You'll understand. Despite my better judgment, I found myself standing in my backyard at midnight. The rain had stopped, and the night was eerily silent. The old oak tree loomed over me, its gnarled branches casting long shadows in the moonlight. My heart pounded in my chest as I approached the tree, clutching a flashlight in one hand and a shovel in the other. I felt foolish for coming out here, but my curiosity had gotten the better of me. If there was something buried under the tree, I needed to know what it was. Taking a deep breath, I started digging. The ground was soft from the rain, making it easier to dig, but each shovelful of dirt brought me closer to an unknown terror. After what felt like an eternity, my shovel hit something solid. I knelt down and brushed the dirt away with my hands, revealing an old, rusted metal box. My heart raced as I lifted the box out of the ground and placed it on the grass. I hesitated for a moment before opening it. Inside the box were several items, a bundle of letters, a small ornate mirror, and a locket. I picked up the letters first. They were addressed to me, written in a childish scrawl that I recognized as Emily's handwriting. I unfolded the first letter and began to read. Dear Tom, if you're reading this, it means you found our secret box. Do you remember the night we made our pact? We promised to always stay in touch, but there was something else we promised that night. We promised to protect each other from the darkness. You might not remember, but there was something in the woods that night. Something that followed us home. I moved away to protect you, but it seems like it's found us again. Be careful, Tom. It's still out there, and it wants to finish what it started. Your friend forever, Emily. I felt a cold sweat break out on my forehead. I quickly read through the other letters, each one detailing more about the mysterious entity that had haunted us as children. Emily had tried to protect me by moving away, but it seemed like our past had finally caught up with us. I picked up the mirror next. It was a small antique mirror with intricate designs etched into the frame. As I looked into it, I saw my reflection, but there was something wrong. My eyes seemed different, darker, almost as if they belonged to someone else. I quickly put the mirror down, feeling a wave of nausea wash over me. Finally, I opened the locket. Inside was a picture of me and Emily, taken the day before Emily moved away. But there was something else in the locket, a small piece of paper with a message written on it. Beware the watcher in the woods. I felt a chill run down my spine. I had no idea what the message meant, but I knew I had to find out. I decided to confront Emily once and for all. The next day, I sent Emily a message on Facebook, asking to meet in person. Emily agreed, suggesting we meet at a local cafe. I arrived early, my mind racing with questions. When Emily walked in, I was taken aback by how different she looked. She was pale and gaunt, with dark circles under her eyes. It was as if she had aged decades in the span of a few years. Emily, I said, standing up to greet her. Thank you for meeting me. Emily gave a weak smile. Of course, Tom. I knew you'd find the box eventually. We sat down and I wasted no time getting to the point. What is the watcher in the woods? Emily's expression grew serious. It's an entity that has been following us since we were children. It feeds on fear and has the ability to possess people. That's why I moved away, to protect you from it. But it seems like it never truly left. I felt a lump form in my throat. Why didn't you tell me sooner? I didn't want to scare you, Emily replied. But now that it's found us again, we need to be prepared. The Watcher is cunning and will do anything to get what it wants. I nodded, feeling a mix of fear and determination. What do we do now? We need to perform a ritual to banish it, Emily said. But we'll need the items from the box and a few other things. Meet me at the oak tree tonight. and we'll finish this once and for all." That night, I met Emily at the oak tree. The air was thick with tension as we prepared for the ritual. We placed the items from the box in a circle and lit candles around them. Emily began chanting in a language I didn't understand, her voice growing stronger with each word. Suddenly, the wind picked up and the temperature dropped. I felt a presence around us, watching, waiting. I closed my eyes, focusing on Emily's chant. The ground beneath us started to tremble, and I heard a low, guttural growl. "Don't stop," Emily urged, her voice strained. "We're almost there." I opened my eyes and saw a shadowy figure emerging from the darkness. It had no distinct form, just a mass of swirling darkness with glowing red eyes. The Watcher. It moved closer, its eyes fixed on me. Emily continued to chant, her voice reaching a fever pitch. The Watcher let out a piercing scream, and I felt a searing pain in my chest. I fell to my knees, clutching my chest, but I refused to look away from the entity. With one final powerful word, Emily completed the ritual. There was a blinding flash of light, and the Watcher let out a final agonized scream before dissipating into thin air. The wind died down, and the temperature returned to normal. I lay on the ground, gasping for breath. Emily rushed to my side, helping me sit up. "It's over," Emily said, her voice weak but relieved. "We did it." I nodded, tears streaming down my face. "Thank you, Emily, for everything." Emily smiled, her eyes filled with a mix of sadness and relief. "We promised to protect each other, remember? No matter what." In the weeks that followed, Emily and I remained close, rebuilding our friendship and cherishing the time we had together. The Watcher was gone, but the scars it left behind served as a reminder of our ordeal. I often thought about the pact we had made as children, a promise to stay in touch and protect each other from the darkness. We had faced our fears and emerged stronger, our bond unbreakable. As I sat under the old oak tree one evening, I felt a sense of I knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, Emily and I would face them together. After all, some promises were meant to be kept forever.